Press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
Hello and welcome to another episode of News Laundry Interviews. I'm Snigdha and joining us today is Hasina Kharbhih. We'd love it if you could briefly explain what you and Impulse NGO Networks do.
Impulse NGO Network started way back when I was in school in Shillong, where I was very active as a young person doing extracurricular activities under the Leadership Training Services. Today, the organization work and cover 8 states of the Northeast, North Bengal, Myanmar, Nepal, and Bangladesh, under the core principle of the work that we do, which is the Impulse model. The Impulse model brings together collective leadership, engagement, that no single organization can address unsafe migration, human trafficking single-handedly. So the model stands on 12 pillars, which is called the 6 Ps and the 6 Rs, which emerge to be the method of how operational, how leadership style, how engaging we have to bring on the service provider so that we could work collectively. So that is where the journey originally started, because we believe that unless until there is leaders that come together, that believe on a single vision, we cannot end slavery. So the Impulse NGO Network start with that foot, and today we are 27 years, way back in 2012 when we got the World Innovation Prize from the Global Development Network under the Japanese Most Innovative Development Project, which recognized that the Impulse model is a tool that can be applied by many multiple countries across the globe. And in the last 2 years, we have been engaging discussion with various country organizations like Myanmar, extended to Vietnam, extended to Korea, to Japan, on how we can engage the Southeast Asia to work collectively in applying the Impulse model.
Hasina, you've rescued so many, like hundreds of women and children. Is there any story or any person, that has stayed with you in the sense that you can't forget it?
Ella is one story that stayed with me, that continued to give me that courage to do what I'm doing. She is a girl that today is in our management team, work in the organization. She basically has lead various repatriation processes in the course of time. She has been a young person that showed guts and determination, because it was in the initial years when our partner organization in Delhi responded to us that there's a young girl who had been rescued and she wanted to be repatriated, and they have had challenges of the state responding to the repatriation. So I had to go to Delhi to meet this young girl who, after all the paperwork and the processes, to pick her up. We didn't have much conversation then when we had to pick her up from the airport. But throughout the journey, there was one thing that, is very strong that stayed with me. And she said, if I had a job in my own place, if I had a livelihood in my own place, I would have not been where I am, So that was something that struck so much that it was something that she was completely not going there because she wanted to. She didn't realize that being sent, to work, she would be trapped into sexual exploitation.
Hasina, Meghalaya has, we all know, hundreds of coal mines that have often employed underage children who work in inhuman conditions, and you have rescued hundreds of them. First of all, tell us more about it. And secondly, there are still thousands of migrant workers who are still working in these mines. How has this lockdown affected them? And, recently I was reading mine owners in Meghalaya have threatened to defy the lockdown because the government is now importing coal, and they say that while their mines are shut. So they're saying it's like a mockery of the economic crisis that they're already facing. Now, so first of all, how has this affected the migrant workers who are working in these coal mines in Meghalaya? And secondly, tell us more about the underage children who are employed in these mines.
With the help of university collaboration, engaging people from the legal fraternity, engaging research experts to help us draft the method of the mapping that we had conducted in 3 consecutive to understand the recruitment of children in the mines and whether these child labor are bonded or are they being brought forcefully.
Right.
So the findings was very, very interesting because the mapping of 5,000 rat hole at that point. So when I use the word rat hole, I mean the pit hole, that was haphazardly, under, what we call it, the land that belonged to all the mine owners who are the rich and the powerful. There was no scientific structure of the way mining was being conducted. And the second finding is that there would be 10 to 15 children engaged in different rat hole. That was the finding in 2007, 2008 till 2009, where they would have shift of these kids going to work into the rat hole. So if you look at 10 to 15 multiplied by 5,000 rat hole that has been identified, taking into account the census of the population size and the migrant, the number 70,000 came into the number that came out was that more than 70,000 children were employed into these rat hole mining. And we started taking up, processes and action where we reported, these findings will be reported to the state authority, to the labor department. In the course of 1 and 2 years, I think we knocked the doors of all the government, from the labor department to the different commission, but we didn't see any, support that would actually help, in the closure of the mines. So in 2014, we took up a drastic step.
Hasina, I'm sure you faced a lot of threats when those mines were shut. How did you deal with that?
Way back when I look back 2008, 2009, those were most of the critical period because the organization was taking, to file a public interest litigation, preparing to file a public interest litigation, exposing the situation of the mines to the entire world, how children are being exploited. Also, helping children's right, to be achieved with reporting every cases of children who are being, brought to the mines. So we did face a lot of challenges as an organization where our office was ransacked. There have been a lot of threat calls. And the final was that when I got a threat call where I was traveling down to Guwahati, and then, the car that I was traveling, there was what we called it a truck that came to hit, my car. I escaped. My driver died. Of course, it's something that went to that situation. So, the threats, the subtle threat, the subtle call, the engagement of different processes to, basically make us keep quiet and not to intervene. The calls that we keep getting and we disagree to actually listen led to that kind of an attack on me.
Mufat khoro, muft mein itna hi milega. To watch the full unedited interview, you have to subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free. Because when the public pays, the public is served. We depend on you and not on advertisers. So go to www.newslaundry.com/subscription and subscribe and get all our unedited interviews, our special video shows, comics, and everything that's behind the paywall. Remember, to subscribe to News Laundry, you pay just about 10 rupees a day. That's less than, a cigarette. And smoking is injurious to health. So subscribe and watch the full interview.